right, we are ready to go. Welcome everyone. This is the presentation for the protein language space in VR. We did this project with Yao Laboratory, which is a creative endeavor from Professor Yao. And essentially the aim is to provide accessible means to access certain subjects. And that ties right into our project. We wanted to make molecular biology accessible to lay people and children and have it fun, interactive, to introduce people to the subject. Our stakeholders are our sponsor, Dr. Yao, and Penchong Ma, who goes by Steven. Both of them were kind of the brains behind the project. They told us what they wanted out of the project, and so they were in charge of our deliverables. We have a project manager, Tony Arslan. He handled advising us on how to structure our project, making sure everything was going on track. Our tribe lead, Joanne, helped us with gradable behaviors, so we had various lab reports, status reports, etc. that we had to submit, and she assisted us. She graded them, but she also gave us advice on how to complete them. And our coach, Joe Ebmeyer, helped us with a lot of technical support. So for our student team, we have Ben Anderson, who was our lead and project manager. He essentially made sure the team was staying on track, made sure everyone was working when they were supposed to, etc. I was the development manager, so I made sure that tickets were distributed properly and everyone who needed help got help. Christian Tyndall is one of our developers. He did a lot of work with the VR space, making sure all the functionality worked, especially with the hand tracking with the Apple Vision Pro. Andreas Cedrics worked a lot with the back-end functionality. Tony Nguyen, he worked a lot on actually designing the website in the VR space so it looked good and it was accessible and usable. And Alex Varville, he worked a lot on the documentation and our testing suite. So our problem was that molecular biology is a really inaccessible field. It's really difficult for people to get into. It's not like, there are certain fields such as music, art, that have become really accessible to people through technology and computing, but some of the sciences are still very inaccessible. And so we aimed to provide an experience so people could be introduced to molecular biology with a very low, with no real grasp of the content, if that makes sense. So we discovered that the VR application would provide this experience because virtual reality is interactive, it's very accessible and easy to be introduced to. And so we thought it was the perfect opportunity for our program. And we also had to make it as accessible as possible if someone doesn't have access to a VR headset. We also have desktop functionality so you can access it from your web browser.
So our product solution that we came up with help of Professor Yao and Steven, was an immersive web-based visualization platform, which kind of just ties or goes down to a desktop where you can view it via VR headset, which is either the MetaQuest or the Apple Vision Pro. It makes it very interactive, so it's engaging and it's fun for everyone, not just bioinformatics people or CS majors. It's very easy to use. All you need is either a computer or a desktop to actually view them. If you do have a headset, it does make it even that more fun to kind of interact with them, literally at the touch of your fingers. What we did is we allowed users to upload via FASTA or CSV file. So if you have your own protein data that you wanted to explore inside the VR space, you can do that with your own or data that you find online. Go to the next slide. Here is 2 screenshots from our desktop. The one closest to me here is going to be what you see when you upload or when you first go onto our website. It's our data that we have that's uploaded already. If you wanted to, you can upload your own, like I said earlier. To the right or to the left of that is going to be the functionality that you have via the desktop. So we have a grid that you can toggle and a few other features. All was made with JavaScript. Next, we have what it looks like when you actually put on a VR headset. And this one specifically is the MetaQuest. You have hands, so you can actually move your fingers around, which is pretty neat. But alongside that, you do have the interactability of the desktop inside the VR space, So there's no need to tab out or go back to the desktop mode to actually interact with protein data while you have the headsets on. So a few value and highlights that we gained from this year-long project was first, coming from the Yao laboratory, they actually have a product that is interactable for all people. Like Michael mentioned earlier, you can look at it whether you're a student, instructor, or just a curious mind. It is really fun and it is an interesting experience to view by yourself. And then beyond its educational value, you do have an engaging introduction to bioinformatics. So if someone was curious in following that coursework, whether they're in college or after that, they are able to do that with the introduction of our website. And then for us as the dev team, a value that we had from it was we were able to interact with new technologies like A-Frame, which is the main one that we used, using JavaScript and Python in a virtual reality environment. I know me personally, I'm very interested into following game design, so this was amazing for me, to say the least. And then for the value that we had as a team, we were able to work within an agile environment. I was a little hard on my teammates sometimes, but I really did want to follow like stand-ups and other agile practices so that everyone, including myself, was able to be ready for going into the industry next year, or at least for me and Michael, since we'll be graduating in May. But we do get to adopt those industry standard workflows. We want to say thank you. Thank you for coming, first and foremost, but we want to say thank you to Professor Yao, Joe, and Tony. They're in the crowd right now, so thank you guys for all the support that you gave us and letting us work on your project. I also want to say thanks to Michael and my other teammates. It was great working with everyone for this last year.